Today's episode of The Bottom Line is brought to you by First Bank.
Dave, 2 decades of utter irresponsibility have been topped off by 2 years of complete stubbornness in the state of Illinois. And as a result, we have a state government that's not near collapse, but it's appalling. $15 billion in unfunded liabilities.
Unpaid bills.
$800 million in unpaid bills.
Yeah.
People who sell stuff to the state of Illinois. It's not a collapse. It's not quite Puerto Rico yet, but it's heading in that direction.
Or it's close. I mean, they're not paying. Medical providers are not being paid. The state universities can't pay their suppliers.
There's warnings that kids won't be able to get their vaccinations because the state isn't paying the doctors.
They're even in threat of being kicked out of the Powerball lottery. I mean, that's when you know things are serious.
That's serious. This started more than 2 decades ago when the state allowed these great pension debts to be built up, and they refused every year to pay, what they had to do for the pension. Oh, next year we'll pay, and they never paid. And that's the root of it. And then we got this Republican governor versus Democratic legislature, and utter stubbornnness.
The debt rating agencies have downgraded Illinois several times. They're just this close to being, the only state downgraded to junk bond status, which would be, I think, disastrous, both in terms of the cost to taxpayers and the state's image and reputation.
The definition of junk bond is speculative.
Exactly.
If you buy one of your bonds, you're really speculating.
You might not get paid back.
You might get paid back.
Well, I'm not sure I'd want to be a creditor of the state of Illinois right now. There's a lot of doubt of when you're going to get paid.
Well, would I want to be a worker in Illinois?
No.
I mean, you want to put a business in Illinois?
That's why this is affecting the state's economy. Illinois has lost population for 3 years in a row. I think they were the only state in the Midwest to lose population last year. Generally, and that means people are voting with their feet. They're leaving this uncertainty behind, and fewer people means less tax revenue, which makes the problems deeper.
Well, I'm not sure we can blame the decline in population only on this meltdown in the state government. But the thing is, this $15 billion piper must eventually be paid. I mean, the pension checks have to go out unless you want to change the state constitution and tell people who worked for 30 years, no, you're not getting that pension check. Either that or you eventually head in the direction of Puerto Rico. Bankruptcy for a state.
Well, which is really unprecedented. There is no bankruptcy code for a state. Congress would have to pass a special law. They could default on their bonds, which a few states did during the Depression. That is, that is pretty much a last-ditch, a desperation move.
The amazing thing is the stubbornness of the last 2 years. You have a governor who's saying, I'm not going to give you basically what you want, Democrats, which is higher taxes, unless you give me these economic things, hits on workers' comp, things that Democrats say are anti-labor, as well as a freeze on property taxes. So
Right. He's got a whole mixture of things he's demanding, in exchange for raising taxes enough to at least pay some of the bills. But in the meantime, I think business is hurting. Both the businesses that aren't being paid and those that might consider expanding, but where are my future workers going to come from? The university's budget's being cut.
If I had to send a kid to college in Illinois, I'd be up with a sign in front of the governor's mansion and the state legislature saying,
it's bad for the economy. It's bad for everybody in Illinois.
First Bank Wisdom. You don't have to be around for a century to know what counts, but it helps. Let's look ahead.